So Errol Spence has called out Keith Thurman, and it seems as though he's been put up to it, as far as I can see, by Floyd Mayweather. He's got Floyd whispering in his ear, telling him, call out this person, call out that person. Now, I've been following Errol Spence's career since the beginning. And the first time I really started to take note of what he was doing with real interest was when I started hearing stories coming out of the Mayweather camp about Errol Spence sparring Adrian Broner and getting the better of Adrian Broner. There were some reports that said he dropped Broner, but certainly he was getting the better of him. That story was coming out from several different sources. And there was also stories of him sparring Mayweather and him giving Mayweather all he could handle. And there was also talk of Mayweather having some type of confrontation with Errol Spence or not being happy with him because of the fact that Errol Spence wasn't showing him enough respect in sparring or whatever. Now, as soon as I heard those stories, I knew that Errol Spence mentally had what it takes to, be a top professional. Because you don't want a guy going in there looking at Floyd like, oh, you're my hero, or Adrian Broner, you don't want that. You want a guy going in there saying, I don't give a fuck about your reputation. I'm going to put it on you. Even in sparring, I don't care if this is your gym, I'm going to put it on you. And apparently that's what he did. Now, I don't know if the situation has changed now because he's obviously been taken under the wing by Mayweather. I hope it hasn't changed. I hope if he still spars Floyd, he's still trying to put it on him. But nonetheless, that attitude impressed me a lot. And in terms of his physical ability and talent, he has a lot of it as well. He does have some vulnerability, though. There was one of his fights, I can't remember which fight it was, but there was one of his fights where he got hurt or dropped. Those of you who have been following Spence's career closely, you'll probably know which fight I'm talking about. There was one fight where he was definitely wobbled or dropped in the fight. So there may be a vulnerability there about his chin, but he's certainly got enough power and speed to have his opponents worrying about their own chins. And he's big enough that he'll be able to not only compete at 147, but maybe even 154. So we'll see how his career goes. I don't have any problem with Errol Spence calling out the likes of Keith Thurman. He's, what is he now, 14, 15 and 0. So he should be calling out the guys who are above him in the rankings, as Thurman and those guys should be calling out the guys who are above them. That's the way boxing works. That's the way it's supposed to work. The problem I have is the way it seems that Floyd Mayweather is using Errol Spence to deflect the attention away from himself in terms of the fights that Floyd Mayweather should be having. Because there is only 4 guys at 147 at the moment, other than Pacquiao, because we don't want to see a Pacquiao rematch, let's be real. There's only 4 guys at 147 with any type of credibility that Floyd could fight now. And those guys are Kell Brook, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, and Amir Khan. That's it. There's no one else at 147 that's credible right now for Floyd. So instead of Floyd talking about, okay, I'm going to fight one of these guys, he's not saying that. He's saying, oh, Errol Spence will go fight Keith Thurman. What the fuck are you talking about? Floyd, you're supposed to be fighting Keith Thurman, not Errol Spence. And if you're one of those people, because many Mayweather fans come out with this nonsense, if you're one of those people who feels like those 4 guys I just mentioned haven't done enough to earn a Mayweather shot, then you also have to say that Errol Spence hasn't done enough to earn a Keith Thurman shot. You have to. Because Errol Spence hasn't fought anyone anywhere near the level of the guys that Keith Thurman has fought. Definitely hasn't. Now let's just go through who Keith Thurman fought. He fought Diego Chavez, who was undefeated, who just had a draw with Tim Bradley. Those people who say Diego Chavez is garbage, why did he have a draw with Tim Bradley then? And some people say it was a controversial draw, whatever. Still, Keith Thurman knocked that guy out. He didn't go to the cards. So obviously Chavez is a pretty solid opponent to take Tim Bradley 12 rounds in a close fight. Keith Thurman knocked him out. Then he knocked out Julio Diaz. Now people say, oh, Diaz is a bomb and this, that, and the other. Well, Julio Diaz nearly knocked out Amir Khan. Julio Diaz had 2 fights with Sean Porter. The first fight was a draw, and a lot of people felt Julio Diaz won it. And the second fight was very close as well. And just after this fight between Sean Porter and Adrian Broner, Sean Porter has come out and said that Julio Diaz was better than Adrian Broner. Okay, that's what Sean Porter's saying about Julio Diaz. Well, Keith Thurman knocked out Julio Diaz in 2 rounds. So I don't know why people refuse to give Keith Thurman credit. I've got no idea why. You people are deluded. He's wiping guys away who Sean Porter is saying is better than Adrian Broner. Sean Porter said Julio Diaz gave him his toughest fight. And about, what, 8 months later or 12 months after he fought Sean Porter the second time, or 8 months, he fought Keith Thurman and got knocked out in 2 rounds. And he obviously beat Robert Guerrero as well. He beat Leonard Bondu, who was an undefeated fighter. So, look, there is no reason at all why Keith Thurman is not eligible for a Mayweather fight now. You don't have to do anything special to get Mayweather fight. The only guy who was credible that Canelo Alvarez had fought when he got his shot at Mayweather was Austin Trout. There was nobody else on Canelo's resume that was credible. Other than, well, a totally washed up Shane Mosley. But apart from that, who the hell had Canelo Alvarez fought when he got his Mayweather shot? Nobody. But yet he got his shot. Victor Ortiz. Who the hell had Victor Ortiz beaten to get his shot at Mayweather? Just Berto? That's it? A guy who realistically already lost to Luis Collazo? So don't come to me with this bullshit acting as though people like Keith Thurman are not eligible for a Mayweather shot now. He absolutely is. And anyone that says otherwise is just a straight up idiot. Simple as that. He's just as eligible, qualified for a title shot or a shot against Mayweather as Kell Brook is, Sean Porter is, Amir Khan, etc. All right. So any of those 4 guys, those are the guys Floyd should be talking about him fighting, not trying to par them off to Errol Spence. That's a weak move, Floyd. That is a weak move. You should be talking about fighting Keith Thurman, not trying to put Errol Spence in front of you. It's almost like a Vladimir Klitschko move. Like, oh, I don't like that guy. He's too tough. Let me bring in Vitali. You know what I mean? Kind of stuff Vladimir used to do. Don't get on my back, Klitschko fans. I'm just having a bit of a joke. I'm just having fun. But you know what I'm saying? It just seems like a weak move to me by Floyd, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. And as I say, you Floyd fans, if you're going to say that Thurman should be fighting Spence, that means Floyd should be fighting Thurman. You can't have it both ways. So, yeah. Errol Spence, I think, does have a good future at 147. I would like to see him fight Keith Thurman. And I don't have a problem with him calling Keith Thurman out. I just think it's a weak move on behalf of Floyd. That's all. That's all I'm saying. And Floyd needs to be fighting one of these guys. You know. So anyway, drop your comments below. Let me know how you feel about the whole situation. It's happening. I'm out.